Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of NotaryCoach.com and the Sign and Thrive Notary Training Course and Community. Our co-host today is Laura Biewer of CoachMeLaura.com. Laura, how you doing?
I am doing fabulous.
Really glad to see you here. And we're not with Carol today, right? Carol's taking a day off, right?
Carol took the day off today, so it's just us.
She gets one of those every quarter, so this is her day. So sending lots of love and light her way. I hope she's enjoying herself.
Yes.
Laura, tell me, what are you excited about this week?
Well, I'm excited about tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will be having our fourth e-meetup in the series of 4 that we planned out. And tomorrow's topic is Ron. So here's an opportunity for people to hear not about how you go get your Ron commission, but from people who are doing the work. And I will have 5 panelists from different states who are actually doing this work that will talk about things like how the fees work and who's really paying you and who's uploading documents and what are issues that happen during a Ron video conference that stop the call, the process, and how do you deal with that. So if you're interested, then you can, and you haven't signed up, at notarycoach.com/notary-light. It's not too late to do that, and that will give you the email that has the Zoom link for you, and that's tomorrow at 9 a.m. California time, Pacific Standard Time. Free call. Please join us. I think you're going to find it very enlightening.
Yeah, I love that. I'm looking forward to that conversation too, because I think the tactile, tangible training or visualization is what so many are craving. So I'm excited to have that level of conversation. Thank you for doing that. For me, I'm excited about an event too. For those of you that have chosen as a side hustle to be a wedding officiant, we have Allan Groleau back in the house next Monday on the 11th. It's a totally free webinar about how to get yourself booked solid for those wedding appointments when things, of course, open back up and are able to do so. This was originally scheduled back in March, but we had to reschedule it, so it's finally been rescheduled. So if you're interested in joining that or just even want to explore what it would look like as a wedding officiant, you can register for that. Like I said, it's totally free, and it is in the chat window, notarycoach.com/wedding. All right, and now let's get to the questions here. As I promised, though, and I mentioned it to the first 75 people who were on the call already, we did change the way our prizes are being, sorry, here, let's do that. There we go. The way we're going to give away our prizes at the very end. We're still going to do a random number selector, but it just requires that everybody who's on this call, if you're interested in participating, that you just put your name and email address into this little form right here. And then today at the end, I will, after we've got all the questions done, I'll go ahead and draw the winners right here, but you don't have to stay present to win because I'll have your email address so I can just follow up and say, congratulations, you won. I still want to draw the names publicly though, so anybody who wants to stay afterwards, you are welcome to do so, and we'll draw those winners. All right, questions. The way this works, guys, it's like an old call-in radio show. You can absolutely raise your hand by selecting on your name and selecting more, and it will allow you to raise your hand. The chat window is also an option, but sometimes those get to going really fast like we learned last week, so I missed some of those. So hand raising is by far the best way to do this. Anybody have that burning question ready to start the conversation? Yeah, guys, you don't have to put your name and email address in the chat window. I gave a link that you have to do that with. Sorry for any confusion. You just got to copy and paste that. You have the entire hour to do it. So no pressure, no stress. All right, who's got a question? Challenge, obstacle. Okay, Stephanie Burnett has a question. Stephanie Burnett Newman.
Hi.
Hi, Stephanie, how are you?
Good. One of my questions is, whenever you guys set your pricing for your, sorry, I'm turning my phones on silent, for one of your, for your fees and stuff for your closing, do you set like an all-inclusive price that whatever your service area is, this is the price, whether it includes e-docs, whether it includes fax, no matter what type of signing it is, so that it's more simple to just say, this is my price, instead of coming back and saying, okay, well, how many pages is it? And where is it at? And does it have e-docs? And, you know, is it fax? And just trying to streamline, make it easier, but I don't know if that's going to price me out of some options.
Great question. So I tend to have, and I'd love to hear Laura's perspective on this too, but I've never cared for the add-on structure. Like, here's my price, it's 75 for this, 15 if I get e-docs, 20 if I have to print, another 25 if I have to, like, and from the client perspective, that wears them out too. They just want to know how much this thing's going to cost. Right. If they have to do math, you're probably going to lose them. But there's exceptions to those rules. Like, you'll hear from notaries across the country that do that, and it works for them and it works for their clients. Maybe because that's the way they've done it all the time. What I have found for me is I set a price that encompasses everything. Are there chances that I take a hit sometimes? Absolutely. Sure. Maybe it's further. Maybe I have to print 4 times because of an error I made or even that they made. But those are few and far between. So I like to build my policies based on the general flow of things, not the exceptions to the rule. Laura, what do you think?
Yeah, I have a basic base fee that is the typical, and then I do ask a couple of questions to see if there's something beyond that, but my fee will generally cover 90% of what's required of loan signing work. When it comes to what I'd call general, so if I'm doing trust work or I'm doing other things, I do have to ask questions. Sure. Because if I have 1 or 2 signer, it's a big difference. If it's a do-it-yourself and they only have, 3 documents to notarize versus an attorney prepared, which tells me it's probably 8 to 10 documents, those are things I need to understand before I can quote the price.
So for loan signings, do your prices vary for a seller package, a refi, all that kind of stuff, or you just have one flat fee, whatever is appropriate in your market, and that's it?
Yeah, pretty much it's one fee for e-docs, no matter what the kind of package it is, because it pretty much takes me about the same amount to do it on the whole. Now, the thing I withhold is scanning. I don't tend to scan documents, so I don't include that. That would be an unusual situation for me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's definitely a difference if you're getting loan through signing companies too, because a lot of times signing companies, they're just telling us what the price is. We don't have that luxury of saying, no, this is my price. I mean, we can try it, but it doesn't always work that way. So on Escrow Direct, I encourage you to do whatever your clients want too, right? Sometimes refinances, because that's such a competitive market on the back end, like title companies are scrounging for a refinance business from lenders. So they cut their fees ridiculously low to earn that business. And then they promise that there will be a mobile notary fee included in their escrow fee. So they might be covering our fees. So they might ask you, hey, I know you normally get $150 for these, but can you do $125 or $100? Or sometimes they'll even ask for less than that. Like I had one client who can only pay $75 because they're promising those. So you can adjust those to whatever works for you and your client.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you for all the comments in the private messages. Murphy's Law looks like it has attacked once again, so that link is not working. You don't have to post that anymore. We'll just do things. I'll come up with something at the end and we'll figure it out and we'll make that work. But we'll get to that at the very end so we don't waste any precious time for questions. Annie DeCayan, thank you so much for waiting for your question. You have your hand up.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Hi, Anna.
So my question today is, I want to expedite and streamline my signing process. So what I chose to do is take the NNA acknowledgement, notarial certificate, and the jurat certificate and type my name in there. Is that an issue? And a fellow notary told me that we're not supposed to do that.
Laura, what do you think on this? Oh, I got you on mute here. Let me unmute you. There you go.
So you may pre-fill out all elements of a certificate, the date, the venue, your name, your signers' names beforehand. You just cannot sign and stamp beforehand.
Right. I wait until I'm with the signers. So
Right.
to
Just those
actually
two things.
to pre-fill it, I actually type it in on the computer and have them pre-filled so that when I need them, that's okay as well?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how you get it done.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I think I think that's totally acceptable. And the only reason that it's not filled out for you anyway is because there's variables up in the air. They don't know where you're going to be meeting, so they don't do it for you. But if they knew exactly where you were sitting or going to be sitting at the time of that, they might have filled that in for you or typed it in. So absolutely.
Yeah, I get them where they are
time.
typed in and they're wrong. So I have to
all the
fix them.
time.
Right, right. Well, I'm talking about for my own self, the extra, my loose leaf ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Great question. Shazad, how you doing? It's your turn. I'm going to unmute and ask your question.
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, good. Thanks for being here.
All
How
right.
can we help?
Yeah, two-part question. So first question, I'd like to take it to the other end and find out from folks what's the maximum they've charged on a signing from a direct signing. And then my other question, which is unrelated, but something I've been thinking about is what kind of attorneys could I get some general notary work from? What are the best types of attorneys maybe to approach as a new source of business? So two questions.
Excellent question. So Laura, I think the second question would be really ideal for you when it comes to general notary work. What kind of attorneys are great for us?
Probate attorneys, also known as estate planning attorneys. And that's all forms of probate work. And mostly it's going to be the trust work. But also probate attorneys are the ones that handle wills and powers of attorney and healthcare directives outside of trusts. And then the other kinds of attorneys I work with are family law. That's for adoption work. Also family law would include marital settlements like divorce. So I get work with them. And then of course when they have divorce work, then there are deeds to deal with. There's lots of different ancillary documents for them. So those are probably the two that I do the most. The third one would be criminal because they have clients in jail and I go to the jail to get documents notarized for them there. So those are the three I work with the most, and those are the whys.
I see. And how does that pay?
Pays pretty good. I like it. I go to jail and usually I only need one or two documents. Usually it's one. And there's a lot more weight involved in it, so I get a good fee for that. Trusts are fabulous. They are equal to or better than loan signings, and I'm not printing anything.
And everything's different from state to state, Shazad. But you can rest assured that any notary who's built a niche or found these contacts for estate planning, they're not working for free in most cases. So there's opportunity in all of these niches. And they say the riches are in the niches. The more specific you can get. And the real value I found with general notary work, and Laura's Notary Symposium last year, she had really good examples of this. Attorneys that really valued working with notaries that knew how to speak their language. So when you niche down, you can get to know an industry. So now when an attorney is talking about stuff, you know the language to dance around and build that relationship and provide the value that they're really looking for. And you can do that in any type of special niche for yourself.
Right.
When you think about it, that's all we're doing when we get education as a loan signing agent. We're learning the language. We're learning how to navigate that conversation. And that's exactly what you can do on the general notary work side too.
And for the fees, like with the loan signings, escrow direct is 200 too high, 250. Is that kind of pushing the envelope or what?
It depends. So it depends on your market. It depends on the value you bring, but 250 to 275 in states like I know you're in Illinois, but that can be a typical fee in Illinois because especially on the purchase side of things. See, on the refinances, it might be a little bit less, but on purchases, you know, getting 200, 250 is not like an unreasonable amount for that. Still, we use the industry standard of about 100 to help, because there's a huge swing. But I'll just offer this to you guys. You know, Southern California is definitely the hotbed, probably the most signing agents. You got the most business, you got high ticket items. And you see a lot of people complain about the fees. Oh, they're only paying us 80. They're only paying us 70. They're only paying us 150 here sometimes. But then almost on a weekly basis, I talk to a new signing agent who goes and calls on a escrow officer in Southern California that has never been called on by a notary before. And they value them so much that they pay $250 per signing. They're not low ballers. They're just looking for the right relationship to pop in the door or make the call or send the email. So there's those types of fees, totally doable in some markets. And it's funny, every time I put out anything about fees, I get so much feedback because I get people in all other states that just say, oh yeah, 250 is my normal fee or 200 is my normal fee. So it just kind of depends. There's opportunity, lots of variables. And your question was what's the most you've ever been paid, right? And I don't know what mine is, Laura, but I've been paid up to $500 with unique situations and circumstances to do a loan signing. It might be super early, it might be super late, it might be huge, it might be 4 hours away. It just depends.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
All right, great question. Did we answer it or answer them? Okay, good. Looks like I'm getting a private message from Martin. Martin, sorry, the hand raising is not working. Would you like to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, how you doing, Bill? How are you doing?
Good, Martin. Great to see you.
Good to see you too. How are things going?
Excellent.
Good.
How can we help?
Very well. I'm beginning to hear more and more notaries are coming to me, and I hear on the posts about maybe signing services or title offices or even private clients being asking a notary to place their seal on an unnotarized document. Now, when I was a notary in California, it was a no-no. And I think there was even a law prohibiting that. Now that I'm in Texas, I researched it, and all I can do to tell my notaries is that the Texas law does not prohibit that you place your seal on any document. Your commission will not be revoked. You won't get in trouble. However, we advise against it. And this is what the Secretary of State's office says. But I wanted to ask the group, what are the laws in your state with regards to placing your seal on an unnotarized document?
When you say unnotarized, Martin,
for example, placing your seal to prove that you're a notary?
Okay, yeah. We've had a lot of those over the years too. Laura, I think we even did a special on this one too. So can you touch on this one, Laura?
Well, California is my state, and it's absolutely prohibited in any way, shape, or form for any reason other than to notarize a signature to a document. So if there's no signature on there, I better not have a seal on there. In terms of other states, most states are in agreement that your seal should not be on documents that are not notarized, because our seal is the evidence that there was something official going on there. And if there's nothing official going on, why is your seal on there? I would have to look up state by state what the laws are to say if the word is should or prohibited.
Mm-hmm.
California is prohibited. I don't have to look. But other states may use language such as should not. But I will tell you that if I see a directive in a handbook for notaries that say you should not do this, you should be interpreting that as I better not do that. Because if they're telling you shouldn't be doing it, and then they come after you, you might be able to challenge that. But do you want to waste your time and money challenging something that they said that's not a good idea? So that's why I would not ever do it.
All right, and that's a best practice, is not to ever do it.
Right.
what I wanted to ask you, Laura, is would you be able to point me to the California code that prohibits placing a seal on an unnotarized document?
The California code, did you say?
Yes.
That's what you wanted to see?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll pull out my handbook and I'll take a look while the call's proceeding.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, because what I want to do is that if Texas does not prohibit it, I want to take that to our state legislature so that it will be prohibited.
Okay.
That
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah, and
I'll pull out my pink book.
and if you guys are not connected already, I'll be happy to connect you via email so you can get that info. Great question, Martin.
Can I comment on that?
Absolutely. Hey, Wanda.
Hi. So I've been seeing those as well lately in some signings I've been doing. I sign the form how they want to, but then in the seal part, I just put a little comment in there, unable to, stamp this per, standards related to notary law, for example. And then I've not gotten any feedback on that thus far.
I know there's a lot of notaries doing that, and I have yet to hear, nobody's come back and said, oh, they came back and they said that won't work. I have to do it. I have not heard that yet. It might be existing, but usually if they do require the stamp or seal, it's, again, depending on your state specifics and your own prerogative, you can just write in there that you're not legally allowed to do so. I know some of us stamp it and strike through it and initial it, or maybe even double X through it. The key is people steal stamps and images of stamps all the time to do, fraudster things. So we just want to protect the intent of the law too, was to prevent fraud or prevent those stamps being on documents they shouldn't be on.
Okay, and it's on page 7 of the California handbook, about 3/4 of the way down. A notary public shall not, that doesn't mean good practice, shall not use the official seal or the title of notary public for any purpose other than the rendering of a notarial service.
Is there
That's
a
government code 8207.
Super, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Thanks, Martin. Great to see you here. Thank you for being here. All right, Sherry Drake, thanks for your patience. Can you unmute and ask your question?
Hi, Bill. Great to see you.
You too.
Real quick, I also wanted to just quickly say to the person that was asking Laura about trusts, I took a really good class that Laura Biewer has on trusts, and I think it's in Bill's Sign and Thrive. If it's still there, it's very affordable, and it never expires, so you don't have like just 2 weeks to learn it all. It's great. I recommend that. And also, I'm getting paid the most from Old Republic. And so I want to try to get more and more signings from them. They're paying me $105. Everyone else is paying me $75 to sometimes $90 if I'm lucky. Would I do that just the same way, like get the names of the different people there and start a Facebook thing with them where it's all about them and being genuine? Kind of the same way, would I ever be able to maybe, I don't know if they're allowed to say, boy, I'd really like Sherry to do my signings in this area, or?
Yeah, so I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, Sherry.
Well, I'd like to get more and more Old Republic signings because they pay me more.
Right.
Is there a way I can do that? Maybe are they allowed to, like if you get where you communicate with them via Facebook and the ways we talk about going direct to title, can you do it or do they just dump it with SnapDocs and it goes to everyone and that's all you can do?
Ah, okay. I see what you mean. So Old Republic Title is sending you lots of signings, but they're using SnapDocs as their distribution channel. Am I understanding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they're paying me $105 for refis where I'm usually getting $75 with other companies. So I'd love to get more Old Republic business.
Yeah.
But
so with SnapDocs, you can be a favorite notary by any company that's using it as a platform. Do you know, have they done that for you yet?
Well, I think I don't know if it said favorite, but I think it said something like I had high ratings or something. But maybe I could call them or email SnapDocs and ask them what I can do to become a favorite or.
Yeah, that's always an option. You might just contact your client directly too and just ask them, if they're enjoying the relationship as much as you are, they can make you one of their, what's that word? A preferred notary.
Preferred. Okay,
yeah.
Great. Great.
And then absolutely. So the bigger question is then now you know what you like, you know who you want to work with. So, you know, in my training, I talk about the Fab 100 list, like who do you want to work with? Now you know
Yes,
who you
right.
want to work with, right? So you can start strategically reaching out to Republic Title. You know their system, you know their paperwork. You might be able to craft some of your language. I know what you're looking for. I know on this form, you guys are looking for this. You can gear your whole conversation. And the cool thing is that's a huge company. All I would, for everybody who's listening, what I would suggest is just remember that you're not doing business with Old Republic Title. You're doing business with people. So even if there's a corporate entity, each escrow officer gets to make the decision on who they're going to use for their loan signings. Usually they have some sort of control on it. On SnapDocs, they might say preferred, and it might get offered to you first. They might give you a little more time to answer to it, and then it will roll on like normal. But that might help increase your chances too. It's still going to come down to relationships.
Plus sending thank you cards. And I do have some of the phone numbers of some of the title officers, because some of them in SnapDocs have put their phone number on there and said, call me if you have any issues, and I've kept them. And I keep them up to date on the signing and everything, and they love that.
I'm sure they love that. So, and this is great. And I love that you're doing this. And the reason we can talk about this is because there's not a signing company in between you and the title company, right? Even though they're using SnapDocs, they're using it as a platform to send out their own signings. So by sending them a thank you card, there's no fear of poaching because they're hiring you. You're sending a thank you card. Right. Absolutely. Thank you cards changed my business, changed my life, because they're very well received. It feels good to send them, and it feels amazing to receive them.
Yeah, it feels wonderful to send them. It makes your life just better when you learn to appreciate small kindnesses and things.
It really is. It's like starting your day with a random act of kindness every day.
Yes.
Send out 1 card, 5 cards, 10 cards, you know, just depending on how quickly you want to scale this. And I'll offer this right now. I try to take the opportunity in every interaction. Just, guys, the world needs a little compassion and kindness right now. So go a little overboard on your warmth in your communication. That means your handwritten notes, your emails, everything.
Thanks, Bill. I'll mute myself now and listen.
All right. Thanks, Sherry. Great question.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your business. I'm so glad it's happening for you.
Thank you.
Hard. All right. So looks like we have Linnell. Linnell, thank you. You there? You're not muted, so you should be able to just say something. All right, Linnell, we'll come back to you. Dana Keller.
Hey, good morning, Bill and Linda.
Hey,
so to keep from spiraling down into an abyss of boredom while I'm sitting here lazing away in the hospital, I've been going through some of the old videos and stuff. And I got to say, this is kind of a twofold question. So I started thinking the other day, because I was going through your signing party video that you did.
Yeah.
And you know how in Arizona we're restricted from charging anything other than, you know, the amount of money for the notary signature and a mileage fee?
Yes.
I'm just wondering what is it that gives us the ability to get around that restriction and charge more for loan signing docs and mortgage reversals and things of that nature?
Great question, Dana. So let's talk about that real quick for everybody who's listening. There's two main ways of, sorry, Linnell, I'm going to mute you again now that I can hear you. When you're operating as a notary public doing what we call general notary work, you are restricted by your state's statutes on what you can charge. So whatever that is, for a notary, like in Arizona, like you said, it's $10 plus I can charge the round trip mileage. And that actually does help general notary work fees get up. I mean, I rarely do general notary work appointments that are not worth right around that $100 range, just because of the distance that we have here. And, you know, I'm crazy. I'll go anywhere. I don't have those rules about my radius. That's how I get my fees up. Now, when it comes to loan signings, though, we have to remember that we're being compensated for way more than just signing and stamping a few pieces of paper. The notarization is part of our process, but there's also printing the documents, traveling to the location, briefly describing each document and facilitating the signing, responsible for gathering all the signatures, dates, and initials, and then also making sure those documents get returned or dropped off at a shipping facility. So we're getting paid for all of that, and maybe even then some. Did I leave anything out, Laura, on that?
No, I think you're right.
Yeah, so that's what we're being compensated for, and that's why we get to be compensated outside the normal rules for a notary public fees.
Right.
Does that answer?
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good, I figured along the lines. My second question is, and if you can refresh my memory. So I have an attorney that is going to pay for my RON training, and he's already established a platform for his documents. Where's the best place to go to get that remote online notarization training?
I'm so glad that you brought this up, and we're going to talk a lot about tomorrow during Laura's Notary Light conversation. But training right now, guys, just so you know, it's almost non-existent. There is NNA has a great overview course on how remote online and e-notarization works. Like, what's the difference? What you're going to find, though, and it's only like $29 or something, but it's super general, right? It's a really overview. And right now, all training that if there's anything, it's very, very general. And the main reason is there's the remote online component. So you got to figure out the technology. You have to know what your state's specific laws regarding RON are. So that's where you'd have to start with your state statutes. What is it that they're looking for? But the big picture stuff, though, is that you still have to learn how to be a notary. So the general notary work, like I'm telling everybody about Laura Biewer Presents, the LBP library, because if you're going to do remote online notarization and include general notary work, there's a new element you have to learn, but you still have to know how to be a notary public. You still have to know how to do those documents first. So I guess the best recommendation, Laura, for somebody in this situation who already has a platform, the platform's the hardest part, right?
Right.
All the platforms are different. So that's the challenge is even if you get your remote online notarization, you still have to learn how to use the different platforms. So there's not this general education that applies to every platform, unfortunately. So you have to kind of dig in. So it's almost like you need him to give you the training on the platform. And then you need to take the responsibility to learn how to be a notary in Arizona where you're at. So you're already got a nice leg up that way.
Okay, and what are the names of the companies that are providing the platforms?
You know, we're going to go through that tomorrow. So if it's all right with you, we'll do that. Now, Arizona state statutes, I'll just let you know, if you read the emergency order, Dana, they give they give you the list of the approved ones.
Okay, all right, I'll look that up. And yeah. I'm going to try and make the meeting tomorrow, but it all depends on when my physical therapy falls.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And we'll get you the replay too, so you can have all that info. Plus, you'll get to hear from people who are actually doing it in several different states to get some perspective. Because right now in Arizona, even though they approved the emergency order, there's a 45-day wait to get approved. So I don't know anybody in Arizona that's actually doing this yet.
Okay.
Not only that, I just want to add a couple things. Tomorrow, not only will they be on different states, but they're using different platforms. DocVerify is one of them. I think Nexus is another one. So what'll be nice is you're going to hear about more than one platform, and that's why I did that. The other thing is, Bill mentioned the NNA training, and that training is going to be about what it takes to become a RON notary in your state, based on whatever that legislation is. And then it also helps differentiate, you know, in-person electronic signings from remote notarizations. And it gives you that nice overview of, okay, I get the abstract of what this is about, but there isn't specific training for the platform specific. You need to get that from the platform, and some of them have it and some of them not so much. So that's what's making this, I think, so difficult. And if you want to get that NNA remote online training class, if you're in Florida, there's a specific one that meets your state requirements, and then there's non-state specific as well, and it's $29. And if you need help with getting that, let me know. I'm happy to help you. But you can find it on our website. If you look under supplies, and at the bottom of the list on the left, it'll be remote electronic supplies. You'll find e-seals, you'll find digital certificates, and under training and education, you'll find the remote. Okay.
Perfect. Great info. Thank you. And thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Linnell, thank you. It sounds like your system's working again.
Yes, I am here. Can you hear me now?
You sound very far away. So if you talk slow and loud, I think we can.
All righty. Can you hear me now?
Very far away. So
very far away. Sorry. So real quickly, brokered assignments, the fees that are offered, are those negotiable at all, or is the signing company just wants to accept it and that's it?
great question. And Laura, I'd love to hear you on this too. So
would you repeat it? Because I had a hard time hearing it.
yeah, no problem. So the question is, when fees come across from signing companies, are they negotiable? And I operate with the policy that everything in life is negotiable. So sometimes the fees are negotiable, sometimes they aren't. So what I'll offer to you, Linnell, is that when an order comes through, they're looking for the notary where it makes sense to take it for that price. That might be somebody who's within 2 miles of the destination. So what happens is they send it out to 5,000, 10,000 people. So you get people who are 80 miles away getting the same rate. So they take it personally, and they're like, there's no way that would make sense. But what they're really aiming for is that notary where it does make sense.
Okay.
And they'll send it back out, and they'll send it back out. And I, like, if SnapDocs, I don't quite understand their algorithm, doesn't make sense on a lot of fronts, but still you can negotiate. Maybe they're not finding that notary that's ideal. Maybe they can't find the notary that's willing to take it for $60. So you say, look, this is 45 minutes away from me, but I'm totally willing to do this if we can get the price up to 85 or 100 or whatever it is for you, and just see what they say. It does not always hurt. There are some people, just like any business, some people take it personally if you try to renegotiate. Some people roll their eyes at you, but some people say, let me see what I can do, especially if your attitude is being a solution to a problem. It's really easy to get jaded in this business, guys. So we get tired of seeing the $60 offers. So then we just shoot this short, sometimes rude, just not warm at all renegotiation. It doesn't work because the approach. If your approach is a warm and you're letting them know what your skill set is, that you're a professional and that you can do this, your typical fee is this, they might be willing to work with you more, but your approach goes a long way on this. Laura, do you have any other suggestions for Linnell on renegotiating?
No, I agree. Everything is negotiable. I don't handle text unless it's from a company that knows me and I know them and we're texting back and forth. It's not one of those, cattle call texts. So I don't deal with those. And when somebody calls me or texts me personally, usually we're on the same page to begin with. But if we're not, I don't have any issue with saying, this is what it would take for me to be able to make that work. Does that work for you? And if they say, I don't think I can do that, it's like, I understand. You need to find a notary that's going to make it work for you. And I just don't happen to be that notary today.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm sorry, go ahead.
One last question regarding the wedding officiant. I would like to take part in it tomorrow, but are wedding officiants, are notaries allowed to do a wedding officiant in California?
So good question. So first, I just want to clarify that the wedding officiant training is Monday, the 11th at 12 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, absolutely. So sometimes it gets a little confusing. I'm not suggesting that just because you're a notary, you're automatically a wedding officiant. You have to consciously make the decision in most states that you want to officiate weddings. What we're going to do, and there's a process for this, you can get ordained online as a minister. Some states are a little more strict. So you have to research it to see what it's involved in becoming. It's usually way easier than I ever thought. But what we're going to do is we're going to teach you not just to be a wedding officiant, just to be one, but to be an amazing one, to be somebody who really is part of a dynamic part of somebody's special day. So that's why we partnered with Allan Groleau. So he gives very specific techniques. Last year, he did one on the 7-point system or the 9-point system on delivering an amazing wedding ceremony. And now we're focused more on the business side, how to keep yourself booked solid. So that's what we'll be talking about.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Bill, before you close out, I want to go back to Linnell's first question. I'm just curious on these signing services that are sending out text messages or what have you, maybe they're recirculating because they're not getting any responses. is there any way that you can tell how many trips around the world the requests have been made before they ended up with you?
No, I don't know of any way of checking that. And it, like I said, it doesn't follow logical sense because sometimes they're still going out when the order has been assigned.
Okay.
So I don't know what the algorithm is on that.
Okay.
Sorry. Awesome. Stephanie, Florida. Thanks for being here. How can we help? You got to unmute if you're talking.
Oh, great. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm sorry. All this is still real new. So I've done the RON certification, and I realize that I still have a lot to learn with just doing the basic notary things of that nature. I guess my psyche is it's better to have it and learn it as I go versus not having it at all. I'm finding it a challenge with getting all of the different criteria to sign up with different I guess platforms, or getting people just getting business and generating that. I don't know, I guess I sound kind of confused, but it's still new to me, and I was kind of working with someone, but not so much great information. I've gotten a lot of great information being on your platform, so thank you all for participating in this and giving us the great information. Thank you.
Well, sure. My pleasure. Thank you for
Did you get my question? So
what I think I heard, Stephanie, was regarding specifically remote online notarization. How do you generate more of that business, right? On remote online notarization?
Well, is it wrong? Is it okay to have that now, since I'm still new with trying to learn it as I go? Or is it best that I just put that down altogether and just focus on the one thing?
And the one thing being general notary work or loan signings?
Loan signings.
Loan signings. Laura, what's your opinion on this with the emerging RON?
If you're brand new, I don't think I'd pick up RON right away, because you need to know how to be good at what you do traditionally with paper. You need to understand the process. You need to know the lingo. You need to be comfortable in presenting documents, because there's going to be new issues for you to learn when you start dealing with a platform. There's going to be technical support issues. There's going to be screen navigation issues. You're going to have clients who the connectivity becomes an issue. And if you don't even know the first part, the basics, and now you've got these other issues on top of it, you're going to be one frustrated notary. So that my suggestion is take training, go to any webinars that offer information about it, learn everything you can about it, so that you're the most prepared when you start. But make sure you've got traditional NSA work under your belt and you're confident and competent.
And last of that question, how long do you think it typically takes? I know everyone's learning capabilities and their confidence are different, but just on a standard basis, how long would you say it would take for a person to actually feel comfortable in that, in your opinion?
I think you already answered that question. There isn't a standard. In 3 months, you could do 100 signings, or you could do 10. And you may come from the loan signing industry, or you may not. You may have been a notary already for 10 years, or maybe this is new too. So it depends on how many new things you're having to learn. I don't know. So the more new things you need to learn, the longer it's going to take.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
And I totally agree with Laura. I wish there was a way to measure when you're ready. The thing is, I think you'll know it when you know it.
Yeah.
Right now, it seems confusing because you're maybe not right there, but you're going to know it, especially as you get a few under your belt and you see some weird situations. And then the other side of this that I think will add a little boost to those who are thinking about it is that your clients might demand it of you. They might say, look, we've got RON legalized in Florida now to work with this client. We need you to be on a RON platform. So then you can make the decision to, well, is this when I start integrating it now? Or do I just say, no, I'm not going to work with that client. I'll just keep working the traditional way until I'm ready. So that will present itself. It's happening to me right now. You know, I've got one client who's just like, Ron, 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 Ron. You know, we've been talking about it for 2 years, but all of a sudden they want it right now. So that might be an experience that you have as well from the clients.
Right. And, you know, just to add to that, I know Ron is the new exciting toy out there in our industry, and there is some pressure about, you know, getting on that. But, you know, traditional notarization is not going away. General notary work is going to be far behind NSA work in terms of Ron. So don't think that all the work's going over to Ron. There's a lot of reasons why Ron is not going to be an answer for clients. If they don't have a social security number, if they don't have the right kind of ID, if they can't answer the question, they don't have enough information because they're on an extreme end of the KBAs, meaning they're too young to have credit history, or they're older and they haven't used their credit in a long time. These are all things that will prevent them from using that as their path. And there's a lot of that. So they need people who know how to do it the traditional way. That's not going away. This is just an additional revenue stream for you when you're ready.
Yeah, when you're ready, it's almost, you know, we talk about side hustles all the time. You know, you can throw fingerprinting on there. Well, Ron is just another income or value stream that just dovetails perfectly for some of us with your regular notary or loan signing business. So you can choose to participate or not. If you're feeling pressure to jump on the bandwagon with everybody, you can step back. I still recommend, just like Laura said, get dialed in, be aware of what's going. So when the time comes for you, you can make the appropriate move. Like, don't tuck your head in the sand about it. You know, you want to be exposed to it. You want to learn about it, but then you ultimately get to decide, is this what I want my business to look like or not? All right. Balanli, thank you for being here. You can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, hi Bill, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can, thank you.
Okay, so my first question, I have two questions. My first question is, I have a MacBook and I'm struggling with getting my brother's printer to print those documents on a Mac. Loan signing document.
That's a tough one. So number one, you'll have to just know that Mac does not play well with Brother at all. The best suggestion from Candy is call Brother and have him walk through them. Just know that you're going to have Adobe Acrobat. There's a way to download the documents and then print them rather than printing from the email or printing from the device. We know you have to jump through some hoops, but what a lot of Mac users have told me they're doing is they're just buying a very inexpensive PC laptop, and that's all they use it for, is just documents for their business, because it's just been a lot less frustrating for them.
Okay. So the second question is, I just want to get anybody's opinion on BankServe video interview.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
BankServe. To join BankServe, you have to have a video interview. I just want to get a general opinion on that. Or pointers, opinions or pointers.
So I have BankServe as one of mine, and I have an app on my phone that sends me the work, and I can choose to accept it or not. But I'm not quite sure I understand about the video interview.
They do a video interview, Laura. Where
this is the interview. The interview.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So what I've heard is they do it, or it's just video now. There's not another human being on. They just give you a guideline of some things to say and introduce yourself, from what I've heard recently. And then I've also heard that they don't believe anybody's actually watching them. But so I wonder if there's anybody on the call who has been through the BankServe video interview that has a quick few pointers for Balanli or anybody else. Michael Petrie, you want to unmute and just share your experience?
Hi, everyone.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, greetings from Miami. I did the BankServe interview last year, I would say fourth quarter. What I really got out of the question is they really want to understand, obviously you're knowledgeable, and you're able to really provide a great experience with everyone in the whole loan process, from the signing company, title, loan officer, the borrower, just the whole thing. And be confident and be credible. I would think be extremely credible with what you do and how you say it, and articulate, and how you're answering the questions. That was kind of how I did it. I've done a few loans for them. They pay really well. Sometimes they just call you and ask you for a rate, and I just threw 150 out there just for the heck of it. And she said, "Okay, docs are coming shortly." So it's not bad. And I also got certified through them for Notary Camp to do Ron, but I haven't had any Ron assignments at all. So
awesome. Thank you for that, Mike.
Okay.
That was great.
Thank you.
So just like any other interview type situation, Belunley, I would recommend dress professional, make sure the background is cleaned up, or maybe have something up so that's nothing distracting or embarrassing. And then show your personality, show your smile, because that's really, they're analyzing it. They want to make sure that you know how to dress appropriately, that you know how to smile. When you do smile, it's, it lights up the room, and you've got control over your emotions, and you do know the flow and how to dance around a real estate conversation. Personality and passion go a long way in these situations. Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Bill.
Hi, Don. Thank you. Don, would you like to unmute? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
We're wonderful.
Good.
How about you?
First of all, I want to thank you and Laura and Carol for what you guys do. That your training has made me a better notary. So thank you. I've been a general notary for the last 3.5 years, and during our stay at home, I've started my training with Notary to Pro for a loan signing agent. And I've heard something about Fidelity Approved. Can you explain what that is?
Absolutely. Laura, do you have much experience with Fidelity? I don't even know if you work with them, do you?
Yeah, I am Fidelity approved. I keep it just in case.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's every year, I have to resubmit to keep it updated. My NSA certification, and they asked me 3 questions, and that wasn't what I had to do, I think, the very first time, but that's what I do to maintain it. And I think there's 2 levels. There's Fidelity approved, like for signing service, and then there's a direct. And I'm sure I'm both, but I really can't speak to how to do that. But somebody sponsored me the first time.
Yeah. I think that's the key, is that to get the, at least for the direct, they want you to be referred in. So that just boils down to relationships with Fidelity escrow officers. So you could absolutely just call and say, hey, who do I need to talk to about getting approved? That's one way to do it. I still recommend that you focus on building a relationship, because the reality is the requirement to be Fidelity approved it's not really a requirement. They can use whoever they want when they want. If they're in a jam, guess what? They're going to hire anybody. I do Fidelity signings all the time. I'm not Fidelity approved anymore. I let it lapse because I didn't want to fill out that application every year.
Yeah.
So, but I still get Fidelity signings quite a bit. So you can build relationships. As you get those relationships, they're going to tell you what they need. All right, great. I'm going to hook you up with my VP of business development. He's going to get you on the approved list, and then we can use you. It could be that simple, but you still need that foot in the door. So I'll focus on the relationship component.
I was thinking you needed just to be a loan sign agent, but I was wrong because I hadn't heard of it before. So, okay, got it.
All right. You're very welcome. Thank you, Don. Thank you for the kind words as well. Joe Lopez, thanks for being here. You want to unmute and ask your question?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can. Nice background.
Thank you. Yeah, Bill, thank you. That's actually an image that I took downtown Detroit. So yeah. I figured this is a cool tool. I do some signings for people who buy cars out of state. And as of now, I've been doing them through Maverick. And I had a car dealership contact me here last month out of the blue. And they asked if I could handle a signing for them. directly. So I named a price. They had agreed to the price. They sent me the information. I met the person who bought the car, and I got it done. And I had posted about that on one of the groups, and somebody had a comment that actually had me thinking, am I allowed to do that similar to a loan signing, or am I to treat that like it is general notary work, and can I only charge appropriately? And that is a question that I haven't seen anyone address yet, so I thought I would ask you.
I love it. I love it. Laura, what do you think on this?
So I do those kinds. I do Maverick, and then I've done direct with the dealership. And I do a package fee because they're sending it to me. So I'm a receiving location, like a depot. I'm taking the documents to them. I'm moving them along to say sign here, X here, even though there's like only one notarization, an ID affidavit. Other than that, it's just they need to sign all these places which have been highlighted or whatever. So I'm still acting as an agent of some kind. And so I package that.
Okay, great. So that's something that I could offer then on my website as a service, and that is a fee that I could pick myself. And if they agree, they agree then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would
awesome.
totally
Thank
agree.
you so much.
And the reason that I would agree too is that you're really, you might even be briefly describing or guiding them along the process, very similar to a loan signing or a living trust, because living trust kind of walks that line too. It's general notary work, but there's also a lot more involved in your facilitating stuff. So it increases our value and our fees follow.
Absolutely.
Great, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe. I'm so glad you brought that up. Thanks for remembering. All right. Yesenia, thank you for being here. We're down to our last 3 minutes, guys.
Yeah. I got 3 minutes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes, everybody.
Buenas tardes.
So the question on bank serve. So by coincidence, I did my interview last night.
Oh.
So it's simple 7 questions, and you can practice using your camera and your microphone, so you can, and even after you start the process and record it, you always have the option of rejecting it and re-answer the question again.
Okay.
So.
That's great to know. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love that serendipity has that happening right at the same time, right when she needed it. Thank you for that. Guys, we have time for 2 more questions. We'll try to. Joseph Paolo, thank you for waiting. You want to unmute and ask your question?
Hey, Bill.
Hi there.
Hey, everybody.
Randy.
Hey. So I just wanted to say really quick that last week I had a printer issue, and it was one of the same questions that we had today. Now, I have a Windows computer. It's not a Mac, but what Bill said is correct. If you use the Adobe, but when you go to hit print, you have to go into the settings and press mark a button that says by PDF size.
Right.
And then once you do that, then they'll print out on Letter and Legal like they're supposed to. And I wanted to mention what a great community we have here, because not only did I get the information I needed last week, but I had somebody email me afterwards on their own time. And then I had somebody private message me today to check in to see if that was solved. So I really appreciate it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you guys for being here and supporting each other. That's why we're all here. So thank you for your follow-up. And thank you, Randy, for that help. Stephanie Dasher, thank you for waiting. We got time for 1 more question. Stephanie?
Hi.
Hey there.
Hi. Thank you, everyone. This is my very first time signing in. So I appreciate that my question is getting answered, and I'll go quickly. I am new. I'm a new signing agent. I'm new in that I haven't completed any signings yet. I have been a signing agent actually for 3 years. I've kept up with the education. I watch videos all the time. I kept up with my E&O insurance, but I haven't made any action yet because I am a realtor. I'm an insurance agent. I'm all these other things on the other side. But my goal was to be able to prosper my business and be able to offer signings in between deals. And I haven't did anything simply because I'm a little bit confused on the name. I don't know if I'm allowed to use a fictitious name without actually taking that, like, do I register that name first? I'm here in Florida, by the way, Tampa, Florida area. Do I register that name first? Or I guess I'm just, I don't know. I think I'm just overthinking it as I'm listening to more and more people today. Do I have to go and register that name before I can start promoting myself with all the other signing agencies that are available? Or do I just need Stephanie Dasher?
Great question, Stephanie. So the first, the commission, your notary public commission is going to be assigned to you as an individual. There's no getting around that. So you will always be the one accountable. So you're the business owner. If you choose to operate under a different name, you can absolutely do that. You could change your name to basically anything, Dasher Mobile. Oh, it's kind of fun. Dasher Mobile Notary, you know?
Well, it's actually Notary on the Dash.
Yeah, nice. I love it. So yeah, so first I have to say you have to adhere to municipal and state laws regarding the registration of your business. That said, you can absolutely choose any name you want, and you want to protect your name. If you're going to buy your domain name, if you're going to invest money in marketing, you'll want to protect that with at least a AKA or a fictitious name registration, whatever they might call it in your area. Then you might, as you start generating revenue, you can decide, do I want to grow this into a company or do I just want the DBA? It's going to be totally up to you. The other thing that really kind of plays into this sometimes is banking laws, because sometimes you can't have a bank account under a different name, like a business name, unless you have it registered somewhere with the state. So that might play into your decision as well. But you, first and foremost, can operate your business right here, right now, once you have your notary public commission. And I share this all the time. The creating names and rebranding is part of the fun part of this work. So I've done it 6 or 7 times in the life of my business. So whatever decision you make right now, if you decide to change your mind, nothing's permanent. You can change your mind. When it comes down to it, people are doing business with Stephanie. They're doing business.
Okay.
They're not doing, like, my clients don't even know my company name. It's just Bill the Notary. That's what they go by.
Okay.
So the corporations, I get checks from one of my original names. I get William Soroka. I get Notary Blue. I get Symphony Signings. I get Notary Coach. those are the checks I come, because those are all the different names I did business in. But that's just paperwork. People are still always going to do business with you. So just know you can change it.
Okay. So I need to go to your website because I'm like, I need to get better. I watch your videos all the time. I'm actually your little stalker. So you go back, look 3 years, and all of a sudden you got a like. That's for me. I'm just looking at all the videos all the time. So I'll just take that offline. But I do appreciate you, and this is awesome. I'm so happy I was able to make it.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. Thank you for being here, and thanks for asking the question, Stephanie.
Thank you.
All right. So Aaron, DBA Captain Awesome. I'm looking into that. Let's give some stuff away, guys. And so my brand new system that was going to work is not going to work. Sebastian had sent me a link to another company. I might have to look back into that too. So we'll still work on it. To save ourselves the ridiculous breaking of Zoom and the frustration of that, what we'll do is I still want to give away just 2 prizes today. But we're going to do that all in one fell swoop. So I'm gonna randomly select 2 numbers between, let's see, let's do that. Oh gosh, I hate to do that.
Last time it looked kind of like a slot machine in the comments.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. 2 prizes, so 2 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
The first prize is going to be the Get Known Strategy course. That retails normally for $297. We have it on discount to $100 this week, but we're gonna just give it away for free. The second prize will be a signed and inscribed copy of Sign and Thrive book again. So there's going to be 2 numbers. So the first one, I have generated the numbers already. So the first time I see those 2 numbers, 1 through 10, guys, 1 through 10. Sorry, I shouldn't mention that. Oh, there we go. Okay. I got the winners, guys. So Kirsten, you're winner number 1 for the Get Known strategy. Terry, right underneath, the numbers were 6 and 7. You are the winner of the Sign and Thrive book. Guys, if you can email me at orders@notarycoach.com, that will, I'll get those sent out to you. So thank you so much for your patience as we figure this part out, and we'll get that worked out for next week so we can give away some more stuff without overwhelming the system. Guys, thank you so much for growing yourself and your business on the Tuesday. Laura, as usual, thank you for carving so much of your time out for us. We really appreciate it. Guys,
tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 9 a.m., the Notary Light final series on remote online notarization. All right, guys, see you later.